We're live.
Invite. We are live. Bam, we're live. Bam, we're live. How about now? Incredible. Incredible. Incredible, incredible, incredible.
Are you ready, Sevan? You seem a little
I'm
scattered over
sending
there.
links out to all the winners. Tim Paulson, Yanikoski.
This is some crazy. This is crazy. This is cool.
I don't have Koski's number. And you're saying that the lady who won, who took second place in the last chance qualifier, Elena Sanahuja, doesn't have Instagram?
I don't think so. CrossFit Games did not tag her. She was the only one of 19 athletes that were in the top 10 after day one that they didn't tag on their leaderboards.
How was it? Did you guys enjoy the last chance qualifier? Were you impressed by the workouts? What do we think? What do we think about workout number 1? Holy cow. Do I owe Ariel Lowen an apology?
Yep, you should get her on here and apologize to her right now.
It is, okay, fine. I will get her on here and apologize to her right now.
There we go.
Hey, we're by the pool. Welcome to my vacation.
Yeah, Ariel Lowen, I told these boys that you would never make it a second year in a row because a fairy tale is just a fairy tale, and last year was your fairy tale.
You know what's so funny, Sevan?
Tell me.
I'm driving to the gym today, and wouldn't you know, my husband listened to your podcast.
Yeah, tell me.
He has the audacity to tell me, he's like, one of the people on the podcast believes in you. Sevan thinks you're a fairy tale. and I said, why would you tell me this? Driving to the gym in the middle of my pump-up song, but I forgive him. It was good motivation.
Oh my goodness. It continues. This is like Shrek 2 or like one of those shows my kids watch, part 2.
I know. I'm speechless. Like all I can do is thank God. And I just got done crying. That's why I've got the shades on. But
me too.
It's amazing.
I was like, dear Lord, offer me the humility to apologize to Ariel Lowen. Before we came on, Brian was saying all sorts of swear words to me, but in a positive way about how good he is and how bad I am.
Hey,
boys bond. It's how boys bond. It's how boys bond.
It takes a humble person to admit when they're wrong. So I appreciate that.
Ariel, when you saw these workouts put in front of you on a scale, will you tell me how much you embrace them? Are you like, oh, great, these are in my wheelhouse, on the top end or on the bottom end? Oh God, I quit.
On probably like a 10 on the top end.
Oh, you like them?
I loved them. I was at lunch with one of my good friends, Kendra, having a Bible study. And I just like looked at my phone. I was like, Kendra, give me 2 seconds. And I read the workouts and I just smiled. And she was like, you love the workouts, don't you? I saw them and they were just absolutely perfect.
Even that first one isn't that first one a little terrifying? JR, Taylor, and Brian were all saying that one is like just so brain heavy that you really have to think about it and really be aware of what you need to do. You need a lot of self-awareness. It's not for the amateur.
Totally. I actually, on that one, was the one I was most nervous for. I reached out to Christy O'Connell, Roy Gamboa, games athletes who, in my opinion, Emily Rolfe, are very, very good. And I was like, how would you approach this? How would you attack it? Had one of my buddies, Joel Hughes, throw it down at the gym. That one was the one I was most nervous for because in reality, it's 4 minutes of work. You can lose a lot by like resting too much, blowing up. So that one definitely, I agree, was the most nerve-wracking.
Now I know why Brian picked you. Because you also keep good company. Roy Gamboa is one of his favorite, and Christy Aramo is one of his favorites. So you guys,
I had to humble myself in the case of Christy Aramo earlier this season.
Yeah, I like to think I channeled my Christy Aramo on this last chance.
When we literally found out, and I immediately text you. Is that how you found? How did you find out? Did you know before we did it, or did you find out just from refreshing the leaderboard also?
I found out. I'm in a group text with my training partner and coach. We have Team Jam, Joel, Ariel, and Matt. They texted and they were like, mine wasn't refreshing because my internet is horrible, and they were like, you got first in the last 2 workouts and you got first overall. And then my husband called me, and I didn't believe it till I saw it.
What time was this
That
at?
isn't true Christy Aramo style too. She got first on both the
I
third and
know.
fourth workouts last year. You were one up to
Yeah.
the 3 first place overall.
This was at, I would say, like 3:05, and then you texted me, and I mean, you're a little important, Sevan, so I jumped on right away.
You're the best. Thank you.
Yeah.
This is your finishes are really crazy impressive. I mean, you left no question. Everyone's like, "Yep, she's the best one in that group." 3 firsts and a 6th. What place did you take last year in the games?
The 14th.
I think it's
I believe.
Yeah, I think 14th. Yeah.
JR, this is to test you, JR, because I normally do this to Brian. Will Ariel Lowen do better than she did last year at the games? Are we looking at a better Ariel Lowen relative to the competition? Mr. Howell. Oh, you're muted. I think he has a one-word answer. I can read lips. Still muted.
The suspense.
Okay, he said yes. I can't hear him, but I do read lips. He either said yes or he said you're an asshole, Sevan. One of those two. They look similar in.
Oh, you got him to smile. Someone just lost a bet somewhere.
Brian, why did you pick Ariel as your winner? What did you see? These are not easy people to beat. She got the 2 times games CrossFit champion, just 2 places below her. Why did you pick Ariel Lowen?
Well, I think she's fairly well-rounded, and I think that the objective of this test should be to find a well-rounded athlete, or 2 in this case, that will be relevant and exciting to see at the games. Like I said the other day, I thought there were 6 women that probably could fit into that category, and Ariel was certainly one of them.
Yeah, I will say my competitors, it was absolutely stacked. Absolutely stacked. It was intimidating going into it.
Is this more nerve-wracking because it's just blind? I mean, you really are just working out in a vacuum. You have no idea what's going on around you.
I'm going to tell you, from about 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, my heart has never raced so much, and all you can do is just sit back and wait for the results to post. But man, I don't know if you saw how many people came out to cheer me on. In this environment, I've never felt so loved, so supported. I probably cried like 5 times today just looking at all the people that just showed up for me. So I thrived in this environment because people showed up and believed in me. And that's just bigger than any pep talk or song you could put on to motivate, in my opinion.
What's the name of the gym you did it at?
It's called Hit for Fit.
And is it a CrossFit gym or just
It is not affiliated. It's like HIIT style training, high intensity interval training. So it's like CrossFit, but they're not affiliated.
And that's where you do most of your training?
That's where I do all my training, yeah.
Did you do any of the workouts more than once?
I did not. I gave them one go. I actually debated doing the first workout again because I felt like I left a little bit on the table, but I'm so glad I did not do it again.
She won that workout, by the way. So.
I did win that.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Crazy. 29 reps. We had Scott Panchik on a couple days ago, and he mentioned that he thought workout 1, like if you just had to pick one of these workouts and you had to ditch the other 3, and it's a lot of pressure to put on him, but he played the game with us. He chose workout 1. I mean, you took first place in 3 of them, but do you agree with Scott on that? Did you like that?
That was a great test. Whoever wrote the workouts for the last chance, I feel like they were very strategic.
Let's give that one. Oh, look, Tim Paulson coming out of a liquor store.
Yeah. Just a heads up, I've got 4% battery left on my phone, so I might lose you in like 5 to 10 minutes.
Tim, Ariel was just saying that workout number 1 was brilliant, that she absolutely loved it. She thought it was written perfectly. What are your thoughts on it? You took 14th in that one, and you took 14th, second, and a first. Amazing finishes, but it's the exact opposite of what we were talking about. Scott Panchik said that would be the one.
Whoa. Taylor and JR jumped on the Panchik bandwagon. I said workout 4 would be the workout.
Wow.
No, so I thought the first workout was really good. I mean, it was a weakness test for me because it was really dictated by bar muscle ups and cycle speed. Like the thrusters mattered, of course, but It was more about who had faster cycle rate on the bar muscle ups, both round 1 and round 2. And my cycle speed on the second round of bar muscle ups was pretty bad. So that was, I just didn't have time to thruster. It wasn't that the thrusters were overtly challenging, like they were hard, of course, but it was more just I didn't have enough time.
Did you have time to watch the women's last chance qualifier at all? Did you have any energy focused over there? Or thought like, hey, I wonder who's no. Okay, yeah, and normally people don't, right? I understand because I was just I just said that there's no chance in hell Ariel Lowen is going to win, and she ended up just cleaning up. I did pick you though, Mr. Paulson, and Tyler Christophal. So I appreciate you coming through for me. How did you find out, Tim, that you were going?
So actually, I just got off the golf course with my buddies like 15 minutes ago. We're like 6 or 7 beers deep, and we were in the car on the way home, and my buddy pulled up the leaderboard, and he's like, "Oh no!" And I was like, "Did I not fucking qualify?" And he looks at me, he's like, "No, you fucking won." And so we pulled the car over and rightfully lost our shit because I was really nervous. I had heard some scores from other guys, and I was really confident with my scores, but I didn't know if there would be enough kind of differential behind me to make up the ground on Royce or Yona. So, yeah, I was really nervous. Like I said, really confident in myself, but really nervous that I wasn't going to get enough help, basically.
There are some rumors, although she's wearing sunglasses now, there are some rumors that water dripped from Ariel's face when she saw the score. From the tear ducts turned on and some water drip from them. Did you have any water drip from yours?
Honestly, I was too fired up to cry. I definitely, I teared up a little bit. This
what
one,
a slap.
Yeah, I mean, this one means like, I mean, this is my 6th straight, and like, it's the first one with a toddler. It's like the first time I'm kind of going at it as like a real dad, like last year, Wes was a baby. He wasn't really doing anything. So now it's like, life is so different with chasing Wes around, like it's just priorities are different. I gave training my all this year, but it was, it definitely, it's crazy, and it means a lot.
Why is your battery only at 3% on such an important day?
Because I use an app on the golf course to like keep track of my score. So I basically drained the battery with a GPS app on my phone for the last 4.5 hours.
If I had
What
6
did
beers,
you shoot? What did
I
you
shot an
shoot?
84, so it was a good day.
Oh my God.
That's a good day.
Yeah,
if I had 6 beers, I wouldn't be able to talk.
They were light beers. It was the Bud Blue, so it's not like, it wasn't like real beer. It's my hockey days beer, but.
Tim,
Go ahead, Taylor.
Tim, did you and Ariel have a score in mind for event 1? Did you guys have any idea how many total reps you were shooting for? What was your guess?
We thought that 30 would be good enough for top 5, and that was kind of like, we were hoping like maybe try and go 15. But I went 15 muscle ups unbroken on the front half, and then the second half, like I said, my muscle ups were just too slow. I didn't have enough time to thruster, so I only got 8.
Ariel, what did you think? Did she freeze?
She used up all her data for the month.
So Tim, did you hear?
You broke up for a second.
Oh,
and Tim.
Ariel.
No,
I'm still here.
my goal.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
My goal was 30 reps.
We didn't.
And I got 29, so I was extremely close.
Did you hear us on the show when we were
first...
talking about 40 reps?
Yeah, I thought you guys were drunk talking about 40 reps.
I didn't listen to any podcast before.
Yeah! my buddies are getting back in the car. We went to the grocery store. They just bought beer. So,
Tim,
I sent the link. If I lose you guys, I sent the link to another phone. So I'll call back in on a live phone.
Okay, brother. Thank you very much. I'm gonna. Will you call when you get situated somewhere else?
Yeah, I can call back in. We'll be home in the next 15, 20. So I can call back. Are you guys still gonna be live?
Yep, we sure will. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, I'll call back.
Okay, bye.
All right, see you guys.
Wow. Okay.
Ariel, did you hear us predict the 40 reps on event 1? Did you hear any of that?
I did not. No, I did not.
All right.
But someone
Royce.
did tell me. So Dylan, my husband, and Emily Rolfe's husband are like best friends. Emily Rolfe's husband said, I think 40 is a good score. And then Dylan was like, crap, 29 might not be enough. Maybe you need to redo it. So maybe Emily Rolfe's husband heard that, put the bug in his ear, and it put the bug in my ear.
Well, we were all full of shit, so good job.
I'll take it. Thank you.
Royce, hi.
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing, brother? Do you know Ariel Owen?
No, we've never met, I don't think.
Well, here you go. Now you've met her. Royce,
Nice to meet you.
Incredible performance on event number 1. Just savage, just coming out and just murdering those thrusters, and then getting over to the to the bar muscle ups. Where were you today when the points when they released the results?
I was here at the gym, actually. Saturday morning our time, so we've got the 6 a.m. class, and I was just finished up the brief and had a quick refresh and saw the news.
And how is that when you see that? Is it fucking gut wrenching?
I guess short answer, yes. I guess like you always want a better result than missing out, but I'm at peace with it because it's weird in this time zone. Like basically the scores were due in at 5 a.m. So it was like do 2 a day and you go to bed knowing that that's it. You're going to wake up with the leaderboard. So last night going to bed was like, I was at peace with the fact that was basically all I had physically in this 2-day window. That was the best performance I could put forward. So it was just a matter of, see if these guys are fitter than me or not.
Sorry, Royce. Ariel, thank you so much. I don't want to keep you from your family, and I know you're doing another podcast with Talking Elite Fitness soon. Enjoy. You're the best for coming on. We really, really, really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for believing in me,
Yep.
everybody but Sevan.
Yep. Except me.
Right.
Royce, when you find out, and you find out, but you're still working all day. You don't get to just go curl up in the fetal position on the couch.
Yeah, I got 2 more classes after this.
And then what? How will you process that? What will be the steps? Will you still go to the games? Like, where will you put your attention?
No, I won't go over this year because it's such a big trip from Australia, and I got 3 young kids, so it's not. I don't want to sound bad. It's not worth it to go over there if I'm not competing. But yeah, I guess I got a bit of a what's the word for it? I got a bit of support, I guess, in Tyler. So Tyler's one of the Mayhem athletes as well, and we were both going the same boat of like we both don't love virtual competitions, and it was kind of like, well, for me anyway, I always thought it was a bit of a long shot to pull together on an online base. So yeah, we're both in the same spot. We both missed out, and it's a bit harder for Tyler. I feel like poor guy has to like sit there every day and see all the other Mayhem athlete like team training for the games. But yeah, we'll lean on each other for support, I imagine.
It's only been 17 minutes since they put out the results. But do you know, like when you see them, is there an immediate response like, fuck this, you want to throw something at the wall, I'm over it? Or is it like, I'm going to get there next year? Is there a teeter-totter like that?
Yeah, it's a bit of both, I guess. It's a bittersweet pill to swallow, but in my case, this time it's very much, I knew that I gave it everything I had, and it's more just like a sense of, and I was more just impressed with how fast the other boys could move. And like at their time, so it's a bit of it's definitely humbling, and it's fuel the fire. No matter what the goal is next year, it just fires you up when you do a competition to want to just get after the next day.
The results that you had on day 1 compared to day 2 were quite different. Were you expecting that? Like, did you really do well on the first day compared to the second?
I knew that day 1 is more in my wheelhouse with higher skill and shorter time domain. I guess I didn't expect the physical toll that it would play into it. Like I didn't think I'd do as badly as I did relative to the field on the day 2 workouts, but when I actually performed them, the body was quite broken. So that final workout with ball balls was like, it was just 19 minutes of like my lower back exploding. So it was, I didn't think I'd be as beat up is basically what I'm getting.
Well, that's that was the workout you did last, the wall ball workout?
Yes.
because when I was looking at those day 2 workouts, I mean, I saw 55 clean and jerks, you're pulling from the floor, 109 shuttle runs, you got to reach down and touch the floor. Burpee box jump, where it was 100, you got to get down and up off the floor. So it's not really surprising to hear that the lower back wasn't feeling too great.
Yes. Yeah.
Did you? I was going to ask Royce, how much time did you have between each workout?
I'd hit the first one like 10:30, 11-ish a.m. our time, and then the second one like probably 3:34. So that was a good like 4 hours between them, but like it was still in the same day because of the way the time zone works here. So it was. I remember Khan talking about this last year. He did the 100 burpees in the morning, and he just he was like shattered, and then he had to kind of rest up like 3-4 hours and hit the rope climb clean. And it's not quite as good, I guess, as if you were to go to bed, sleep 8 hours, and get up the next day and do it. But that's just the nature of the time zone, right? Like there's no way around that, unless I wanted to get up at 2 a.m. and do it this morning, which I don't think would have been any better.
Yeah.
When do you get back on the horse, Royce? When do you shake it all off and get back to work? Is it 1 month, 2 months, 3 months? Is it?
Working out with a purpose, probably like a couple of months. Probably like we've got some like off-season stuff coming up that'll just be good fun. But like as far as getting in the gym and just doing something, that'll probably start like tomorrow because we still got a crew. We got a team here in Brisbane that made the games. They're training for the games now, and they're all Mayhem athletes as well. So I'll just be hanging out and just providing a bit of help for them to train, and but like training with a purpose, I guess you could say, won't really pick up for a few months. I guess as you just kind of give yourself a break emotionally and physically.
Yeah, emotionally for sure. Have you heard from Rich?
I haven't yet. I don't know if they're in the middle of the session or not. I never can work out the time difference exactly.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I've been speaking to Tyler this morning though.
Say that again.
I spoke to Tyler this morning before the leaderboard came out.
Awesome. And is he's there in Cookeville?
Yes.
Okay. I really appreciate you. It's probably not the funnest thing to do to come on a live show right after, fucking getting that news, but I really appreciate it. It's awesome. I think the 1,000 people who are watching really appreciate it. And thanks for giving us some insight into how you think, how you work, and how you're doing. And a lot of guys here picked you to win the Last Chance Qualifier, to be going to the CrossFit Games, and I'm going to be happy to take their money. So thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, brother. Bye-bye.
Good to see you, Royce.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Thank you two for jumping in and asking questions. Sorry, JR, I didn't ask you if you had a question, but feel free always just to jump in.
Sevan, I sent you Elena's Instagram on your Insta account.
Oh, okay.
I thought she didn't have
Apparently
one.
she does have one. Well,
Wow.
CrossFit didn't tag her in it out of the 20 athletes they tagged yesterday, but it's
Of course.
not. Some other people found it and sent it to us.
Give me one.
How fucking crazy is that?
Can you spell? Should I just spell her
Taylor,
name?
let me ask.
Okay, go ahead.
Taylor, let me ask you this. So right now it's pretty small margins, 4 points and 8 points between second and third. What do you think the chances are we see a penalty come in that changes the results?
Exactly what I
Yeah. I mean, golly, how bad? I mean, even on the women's side, Ariel Lowen's safe, you would think, but second place for sure isn't safe. On the men's, I don't know how likely it is. It's not unlikely, but I also wouldn't count on it. I'd say it's probably, I don't know, maybe 50-50 because you just never know. I mean, it happened last year in the Atlas Games with Hemsay Tarifi. I think same on the men's side too. I mean, gosh, Janikowski's for sure. He's not safe from Jake Berman, but I
would just say looking at the movement quality of Tim and Yona, I wouldn't expect it to be because of that. So unless it's some kind of like improper setup or maybe they missed something in the standards that was new, which I didn't see.
Wall ball,
the score sheets. Yeah, I didn't see anything different. I would be hard pressed to think either one of them would get any penalties for movement.
Let me ask you this: was anyone penalized on day one from the first two workouts?
Yes.
I don't think there were score adjustments.
There were.
What's the difference? What's the difference between a score adjustment and a penalty?
Like if you're locking out a thruster with a half a second to go and you freeze frame the thing and it looks like you're locked out, but then you watch the video in real time and it doesn't seem that you show control, like I would give myself that rep and make it on them to decide to take it away from me. I think a competitor did that and they were like, nah, he didn't show control. But he did look like he had it locked out with a minute to go.
A score adjustment would be like a false start, 5-second penalty. A penalty would be like you didn't hit depth on your thrusters, so we're docking you 3 reps. That type of thing. But we know 2 things from the first day. One is that when they first publicized the leaderboard, there was a 4-point gap between Chloe Wilson and Ariel Lowen, and about an hour later that was reduced to a tie. They were both at 180 points. 4 points is the difference right now between Elena and Katrin. So it's not unprecedented that something like that could happen. And then the second, to your question, the penalty, CrossFit said that they'll address the penalties and announce all the penalties or score adjustments that were assessed after all the workouts are completed, so not day 1 and day 2. So we should get something from them eventually on that. But in the meantime, Augustine Raquelme had made a big deal about the fact that he received a big score adjustment on his workout number 1 this morning for not hitting depth on the thruster. And so we can assume based on that they're looking for that pretty closely. I don't know if other athletes got any penalties on that workout, but they also had to do 200 wall balls today. And if you're looking for depth that closely, I think Andrew Hiller made a video about it, then you would expect them to be scrutinizing the wall ball depth for the squat as well.
So you think that there are going to be, what you're saying is you think that we shouldn't, we shouldn't bet the bank on this. Some things are going to change.
Yeah, and I don't think that you're likely to see massive changes, but they did say that, we did see some changes pretty soon after yesterday, and then we know that there were some other things that happened. And I think that they've given themselves at least until Wednesday to finalize the leaderboard. So these are obviously first results, unofficial results, but I think that it's like I don't see any scenario where anyone that's not in first, second, or third ends up in a qualifying position.
Okay, is this the post where he's? I don't speak this language, but is this the post he's making? Where
so he's basically said that he had done 34 reps, which makes sense. He's amazing at bar muscle ups. He's fairly strong. He has a relatively low range of motion, so he could have done really well on that workout. 34 reps would have tied for first, I think, with Griffin Raleigh on that one, and it got reduced to 18 reps, which looked a little weird when you look at the leaderboard for him to have that many reps. But then you find out that he got a 16 rep penalty, and there's a response from the CrossFit Games.
This is from Dave Eubanks. Hi, Augustine. After further review of your original submission, the review team's penalty stands. Oh, so that means he must have protested, and this is the follow-up to it. There were a significant number of reps where the crease of your hip was not clearly below the top of your knee. Okay, sounds right. And as a policy, we do not accept additional angles videos for review. Oh, interesting. However, even in the video you sent of the different angles, it is clear. Oh, that's nice of them. Okay, so they don't normally do that, but they made an exception for him. And if it's clear that there are many reps that fail to reach the appropriate depth. Okay. Thank you for your patience as we process your appeal. Sincerely, Dave Eubanks. Have any of you guys seen the original video? Obviously, we haven't seen the variety of angles.
Yeah.
What did you think? Did you think it was good judging from CrossFit?
I didn't count 16 reps, but it's one of these things kind of with like the wall ball buy-in workout, where if you haven't done all the wall balls from the Masters online qualifiers, what I'm talking about in round 1, how can you accumulate any in round 2? And so if they're giving him no reps on the thrusters in the first part of the workout, they might not just be docking him for the thrusters, but the time that it would have taken to do thrusters, and therefore taking away some bar muscle ups. That's the stuff that we don't know and that they usually don't communicate that well. So we'll have to see how they've said they're going to release all the scoring adjustments, etc. So we'll see what level of detail they go into there. It's usually pretty vague.
I do see that Hiller has a video about it. What did he say? Do we know what he said?
Yeah, he basically said it was tight. Like there were tight calls. He's not saying that they definitely gave the right call or the wrong call. His main point of that video was that if they're being this critical and assessing this guy this big of a penalty for reps that are that close, then they better be doing that for everyone, and not just on that workout, but also for the wall ball workout from day 2.
I appreciate you repeating that, Brian, by the way. Sorry. I know you said that once already. Thank you. Sorry, Taylor. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think Hiller has a good point. When you watch this guy's video, it's one of those typical squatters where he's a little bit, maybe not toesy, but he has good ankle flexion, so his knees come forward, and it just makes it harder to tell that his hip crease is hitting depth. And what it reminds me of is watching Sam Quant's Nasty Nancy video from the 2020 online games. he didn't get a penalty in that, but if you go watch the video, he doesn't really hip crease for sure doesn't go below the knee on all of the squats. So it's just interesting to see stuff where in the past they haven't. You can tell an athlete is squatting to a depth that seems to be below parallel, but if you really want to scrutinize it, the hip crease is not below the knee, and they haven't been penalized, but now this guy is getting penalized, so I would be interested to see all the other athletes' videos. And, yeah.
Well, and that's and that's really what I hope, is that we're eventually able to, at the very least, see the videos of the qualifiers.
Yeah.
And he's the only one that we know at this point.
Yeah, because he's made it public.
Right.
So it's at this point, it's on the athletes to do that. Eventually, it seems like CrossFit will do that.
I'm looking on the CrossFit Games Instagram for the Last Chance Qualifier workouts. I think I found them. I'd like to. Okay, here I found them. I'd like to go through with you guys, based on some of our assessments and guesses on how this thing turned out. If we saw what you expected. Let me see what happened. Go. Okay. Workout number 1 here. Some of the things we talked about, whether people should come out hot and do all the thrusters unbroken, what it would be, how much the rest would help, and what people should do when they come out for the bar muscle ups. Have you guys had a chance to watch some of the videos? What do you think? What was it correct? What Royce Dunn did come out and just destroy the thrusters right off the bat?
I think in his case, it was the right move. And I think in maybe one or a few other athletes' case, that was the right move. I think in Griffin Raleigh's case, that was for sure the right move for his skill set. But you also look at someone like Augustin Richelme, who did 34 reps before his penalty, and he's without a doubt not as strong as those guys on the thruster. So you have to just assume that he flew on the bar muscle up. And even Tim Paulson said that it was, for a lot of the guys, coming down to the cycle rate of the bar muscle up. I watched one athlete, and he flying on the bar muscle ups, and he got Jake Berman's video. And so that was why he got a good score. He was a top 5 score on that event. He just flew on the bar muscle up. So,
do we know what Janikowski did? Has anyone seen his video?
I would assume the bar muscle up rate was very fast.
30 reps, took 4th place in it. Was this the same workout for men and for women? By that I mean, when we were talking with Scott trying to pick out which workout was the most indicative of towards who would win the events, one of the questions we brought up, is it the same for both sexes? Ariel Lowen took 1st and Elena took 7th, and the person who took 2nd place,
Jamie Simmons.
Where is she at? Oh, okay, she
was 5th overall.
Okay. Did we is it the same workout for men and women? Were correct?
Yeah, we talked about the discrepancy in the weight, and should it be 135, should it be 115, should it be 125? And obviously it appears as though whether it was the fatigue from the bar muscle ups going into the last set of thrusters, or the fatigue from the thrusters going into the first set of bar muscle ups, look at the top scores comparatively to the males and females. Not even close.
The men did significantly better, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Well, it's 5 reps, but it's like 15% or something, of the total.
It's a lot
that was done.
Look at Sarah Sigmund's daughter, 16 reps. Have we seen that video? Does that?
No, but that was the one that I was curious about. It's with the squatting under a moderate weight and moderate volume in a fast setting, and from the heavy squatting that we've seen her do this year, that seemed to be like the one thing that might be problematic for her. So we don't have the videos. We don't have a chance to see that stuff, so we can only make assumptions for her.
When you have a surgery like that, one of the things that takes the longest to get back is that end range flexion, like hyperflexion of the knee, where you can kind of bounce into the bottom. I'm sure there's still probably a lot of scar tissue in there from her, so it makes sense that front squat and the thruster movement, especially where you're using a lot of the bounce out of the bottom, is troublesome.
Do we know anything about how? So CrossFit has videos up of Chloe Wilson, Ariel Lowen, Royce Dunn. They have those up already. Those are the 3 from event number 1 and 2.
Do they have Tim Paulson's up also?
I don't see his.
I love how they just don't.
It's somewhere. His is somewhere, but I don't know if it's on CrossFit Games or not. But yeah, there are a few videos out, and it's nice, and everyone's been watching those and have had nice things to say about them. It's too bad that we don't have more of them yet.
So I wonder how that works. Do they say when the athletes submit the videos to HQ, does HQ own them then? Do they have the right to publish them?
I would assume so.
Yeah, because I'm guessing why not just publish them all?
Because they're fearful of someone.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't think of that. But at the same time, they just don't. I think also what plays into it is how many followers does each person have that they're posting.
No way, dude, because there's no chance that they wouldn't have posted Katrin's videos then. Or
that's a good point. That's a good point. I guess I'm still butthurt last year. I did really well in a couple workouts, and they didn't fucking say shit about me.
Yeah,
who cares? They should just make them all available. People want to watch them. People love watching this stuff. There's a huge group of people that would want to watch James Sprague or Matt DeLugos or Griffin Raleigh, no matter where they finish on the leaderboard.
I agree.
And who cares don't be afraid of anyone. Who cares what the pundits are saying? Let them say it. Let people say rep, no rep, whatever. At the end of the day, CrossFit HQ has the final word, and the world keeps moving forward. And if you guys do screw up, it gives us a chance to make some video, make some coin off of YouTube. Just chill, show. What do we know about this young lady over here, this Elena?
Nothing. I don't know shit about her.
Oh, come on, dude. She's been good for a couple years. She just doesn't. She probably would have made it last year if European women had gotten the number of spots that I think they deserve to get. I think she finished 6th last year in the semis. Didn't do as well in the Last-Chance Qualifiers this year. I think she ended up 7th at the Lowlands Throwdown, but the Lowlands Throwdown was stacked, dude. It was so much deeper and stronger of a field, I think, than strength and depth. And all the people that beat her will probably do really well at the game. Sarah was the other person that finished inside of her there, and she had 1 or 2 bad workouts. She just won the French Throwdown, even though.
That's
kind of came down.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about. Are we tripping on that? Is that like holy shit? Like what the hell's going on?
That's pretty nuts. And they weren't easy workouts. The French Throwdown were some serious workouts.
Yeah, there were like 9 or 10 of them.
8 or 9 events, I think.
Yeah, that's a legit
competition. On here
competition.
and ask her what she was thinking. I mean, you have to guess that someone advised her against doing that, right? I'm trying to pull up her Instagram, by the way.
She was probably thinking, "Fuck it, I can make 12 grand here." And the Last-Chance Qualifier is stacked. That's probably what she was thinking. And now she's probably thinking, "Holy fuck."
Yeah, I think she probably would have had to finish top 15 at the games to make that, or close.
She had a good week. She had a good week. She should go get fucking shit-faced.
Like Tim Paulson?
That's so funny that he's doing that. Good for him.
Yeah, look at this.
That is crazy. Unreal.
Uh-oh. If she comes on the she got 3 words in English. We did it. and the rest is in Espanol.
I can translate.
Good. I mean, do you speak it well? Because if she calls, we're going to be screwed.
No, we're fucked if she calls.
Oh.
No, but she has actually like been around. She's been competitive in Europe. She's not just this like random person that's showing up here at the top of the leaderboard. I basically discounted her in this competition for the same reason I discounted Luka Djukic's, because I didn't think you could do that competition and turn around 3 days and do this well against this caliber of field.
How old is she? Wow, she's 28 too. That's incredible.
Yeah, and look at this. Look at this. Oh, 28 also. Here we go. 29.
I just meant what I was referring to in terms of her age was I was looking at she did a 9-event competition a few days ago. How long is it going to take her to recover and repeat that? And typically as a young person, it's a little easier, but 28's not old either. I was just surprised. I was expecting to see like 24, 25.
JR, what's a bigger shock, that Elena is in or that Katrin is out?
Based on the people on this panel, I think it's a way bigger surprise of the former that she's in.
That Elena's in, yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been that surprised if Katrin missed out barely, but I would have thought that the people that barely beat her would have been a Jamie Simmons or a Maddie Sturt or something like that, as we talked about, or a Chloe Wilson. Like I said, after day 1, I thought that Elena was within striking distance points-wise. She was only 20 points out of the 2-way tie for first, but I just, before this competition, I thought that French Throwdown would just be too big of a beating for someone to possibly bounce back from and do this 3 days later.
Is she the only person going to the CrossFit Games who did the French throwdown?
Well, yeah.
Because no one else who qualified from the semifinals went to it.
No. That's not
Guillaume,
true.
didn't Guillaume Briant do it, or Georgios Kavadas?
Yorgos Karavis won it, and he'll be at the games. Karen Frey got second to Elena in that competition. She'll be going to the games. So there were others, but no one else that also did the last chance qualifier and made it. That's what I thought you were asking.
Scott, hi.
Hi.
Did you see? Have you watched any of these workouts that these guys have posted yet?
I haven't watched them. I've watched Fee because she's a
good dude.
Yeah, she's a friend of mine. So we watched her go, but I haven't watched anyone really else go.
I want to show you this one. I don't want to get it pulled down, but this workout. Have you seen any of the dudes do workout number 1?
No, I haven't.
Oh man, you got to see it. It's freaking amazing.
Scott, what did you think reps wise was going to be like a top score on that workout?
Initially, I was like anything above 30 would be a kind of good score, like top 5 score. I looked at the leaderboard yesterday after the first 2 events and then today, but I didn't really dig into a lot of the scores.
I think we nailed it. I think everyone pretty much agreed, right? That Griffin Raleigh was gonna win that was gonna be his.
Yeah.
And then you see Tyler Christoffel did well, and I think people based on the training they do over at Mayhem that knew that he would do well on that also. Are you surprised here, Scott? Well, Scott, where do you rank Yanikoski as a CrossFit Games athlete? These guys respect the shit out of him. I mean, I like him, but I just see him as more.
To win.
You did, Scott?
Yeah, I told Taylor I thought he would make it out of it just because he's so well rounded, and he's an athlete that has just gotten better every year. If you look at his placing at the games, he's just continued to get better. He used to be the guy that came in and would win a few events, and you didn't see much more of him by the end of the week because it was always heavy endurance at the beginning. But near the tail end of the weekend, you started seeing his name show up more, and he was slowly climbing up the leaderboard each and every year. So I think he's somebody that definitely has the capabilities to be at the games, and that was why I picked him.
Scott, I hate to do it to you, but I don't think that's true. I mean, he's got 4 top 10 finishes going back to 2014, and it mostly has to do with when he's healthy or not. 9th, 7th, and 6th or something like that.
So he hasn't constantly gotten better.
Well, I mean, those are really small improvements, 9th to 7th to 6th over the 7 years time period, but he doesn't have any really bad finishes.
Let me ask you this. If you were looking at a 5-minute mile versus a 5:15 mile, those small increments are very difficult to shed off. And that's what you're talking about when you get to the top 10 guys at the CrossFit Games.
It's funny. I was thinking about the difference between a 6-inch stick and a 9-inch stick. It's funny how you think of it in mile times, and I think of it as, it's just weird. We're just different. We're just different creatures.
How do you go from 6 to 9 inches?
That's what everyone really wants to know.
That's a different show.
Scott's right. He has made incremental improvements over his career to creep up in the top 10, but he's been inside the top 10 going back all the way to 2015. So it's not, this is a really good guy who, when he's at his best, is definitely relevant in the top 10 conversation at the games. Has always been and still is.
Yeah. How did he do his first year at the games?
9th.
He took 9th his first year at the games.
That's crazy.
His first year was really bad. That was his only bad finish that he finished the games. It was 32nd. He came back with a 9th. Then he had a withdraw, another 9th. Then there was the cuts year. Then there was the online year. Then he had the 6th.
Okay. Yeah. I don't have my statistic sheet here in front of me,
No, but he's one of those guys that you're exactly right. Like, people see him and they're like, oh, he's going to win the swim event. He'll be in the lead for a day or 3 events or something like that, and then he'll fade out. But we've seen other guys do that, like Jordan Troyan, and he's never had a finish like Kosi come the end of the week. Kosi can still shine in the classic CrossFit stuff too.
Yeah, I agree with you there. The other thing, after thinking about the weekend a little bit after we talked and just the athletes that are there, you have a lot of athletes, I think, in this field that are kind of specialty athletes in some ways. Not all of them, but I think that, like, you look at someone like Griffin Royal and some of those other guys that are in there. He's really strong. And I think when you see all these specialty guys, that leaderboard tends to shake up. And I was thinking more about, okay, is the person who does the best in that first workout necessarily going to be the person that comes out of the weekend? And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, yeah, I don't necessarily think that's the case, because I think there are a lot of specialty guys that kind of look at within those 4 workouts, they have something that pops up there. They're like, that's my jam. And I look at Yoni Koski. He's one of those guys that is just like, probably not looking at anything saying it's his jam, but knowing that he feels still confident in his abilities to do it.
And
well, on the women, you nailed it. Ariel Lowen took first.
1 out of 4 is not bad.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
No, just to what Scott was saying. Like Jonas Koski's performances or finishes reflect exactly what he said. He's got no top 2 or even top 3 finishes, but everything 4 through 6, and that consistency pays off.
Scott, did you ever not make it to the games?
This year.
Well, perfect. What is we spoke to Royce Dunn just like 10 minutes after he got the results. And he got the results, and he's at his gym, and he still has to teach 2 hours more of classes. He taught an hour of classes. He got the results. He's got to teach another 2 hours. Is he just broken inside? Is he just hurting?
No, I don't. I mean, I think he's definitely hurting inside, but I think that's probably one of the best places for him to be. I think that's something that you don't see as often anymore, are these CrossFit games athletes that have a community around them that they are supporting in the same way. And there's something special about the people that are pouring back into their community. And I think it can pull you out of a pretty dark time, a place when you can kind of give back to them and find enjoyment in your day through outside of competition and just winning something.
So we had Ariel Lowen on, and you nailed exactly what she said. I said, basically, she said she did her workouts at her gym, and the love she felt and the amount of people that turned out was like overwhelming for her, like just absolutely the most love she's ever felt. She was basically just saying that it must be hard because people
dangerous too. Like when you got your community and you're kind of rallying the troops around you. That's, it's. Think of like your dad showing up to a big game and you want to turn up and make him proud. Like I feel that, can give you a little extra edge.
Like extra edge or danger? Like it could be a little, did you say it could be a little dangerous?
It depends on the athlete. Either you rise to the pressure or you crumble because it was too much for you. But I think that as an athlete, you kind of have a general idea on whether you want people there or not.
I think it depends on the workout too. I was watching Ariel Lowen's rowing video, and I mean, she's basically holding like a 152 or something like that the entire time. But you hear these people in the background that are like, "Come on, Ariel, give me a hard 100 here," and like, you appreciate the support, but you're like, "I'm in my zone. Like, just let me row my 152."
There's nothing worse than someone yelling at you 250 meters in on a 2K row. You got to give guidelines. You got to let people know, like, hey, I don't want anyone to yell at me until the last 250 meters.
Scott, Tim Paulson just joined us, but pretend like he's not here. Are you surprised Tim took first place?
I am not surprised. Tim's an incredible athlete.
Appreciate that, Scott.
Right before you,
strength, man. That's fitness.
Tim, I didn't even see you down there, Tim.
I'm here now. We're good.
Scott, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for giving us your predictions of and insight into the workouts, and hopefully we can tap you as we get closer to the games again.
Yeah, absolutely, you guys. See ya.
All right, brother. Thank you.
I'm heading out too. Thank you, guys.
Peace later. Oh, good. Now everyone can be bigger and people can see us better.
Oh, I like being big on screen. It makes me happy.
Yes. Tim, how many times have you gone back and refreshed your phone a few times to look at that just to make sure it's
real? Yeah, about 100. Yeah, it's definitely still hasn't settled in, but I will say I've already gotten 4 out of 4 video approvals, so my videos are all good to go. I know no penalties are coming my way, so I'm feeling pretty good right now.
Can you tell us that process?
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so we submit our videos. I submitted mine right after I did the workout. So I did the workouts at 3 o'clock on Wednesday, 9 and 3 o'clock yesterday, and then 9 o'clock this morning. And I literally loaded my video to YouTube, submitted my score within 45 minutes of being done. So I actually knew that all my videos were good before the submission windows had even closed. They polished them off pretty quickly. Within 2 hours, I had feedback on every video that I'd submitted.
And can you tell us what that looked? We read we were reading Augustine Raquelme's the note he got from CrossFit HQ, basically saying, hey, we reviewed your. It sounded like he made an appeal. We reviewed, and yes, there are 16 reps that are questionable. And even though we normally don't review outside angles, we also reviewed your outside angles, and in the judgment stands. It sounds like they were thorough. When you
My buddies are here raging, so.
When you get that, who's it from? Is it from Eubanks? Is it from Dave Eubanks?
It's actually just from like a generic CrossFit Games team email address.
Yeah.
I know that I've emailed back and forth with Angel, so she's gotten back to me a couple times. So I know, or Angel.
She.
Yeah, Angel. So she's gotten back to me a couple times when I've had questions, but I don't know who it directly comes down from. Yeah, and I made my workout 2 public, and I'm going to make the rest of them public later this week so that people can check them out if they want to on my YouTube channel. Just for I don't care. I know the movement quality is good, and I'm not worried about it. So,
yeah.
Tim, we were wondering earlier, when you submit your videos, does that give CrossFit the right to release them regardless of what you want, if you chose to?
I think if it is, they can use it on the update show. Was kind of my general understanding, is that like they weren't going to release the full video publicly. That was specifically stated by Boz in an email. They weren't going to release all of our videos, but they were going to use them for highlight and updates for games media and things like that.
So they could pick the best reps.
I mean, all my reps are good, man. I'm not worried.
So in the case where they have, for sure, yes, we know that about you. We appreciate the movement quality. In the case where they have uploaded those videos, then they probably reached out to those athletes like after the fact to make sure that was okay.
I don't know, actually. I would imagine. Honestly, they've never used any of mine, so I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know. I want to work out, so I'm sure maybe they want to use that last one. So maybe I'll let you know in a couple days, hopefully. But
hey, Tim, if you were to say, I just want you to know that I'm not like the rest of these guys. If you were to say, hey, I'm for supporting people from the adaptive class and I would like a blind judge at the CrossFit Games, I would, someone who can't see, but they also deserve an opportunity. I would fully support you. And if half your reps weren't good, fuck it, it's not your fault. And I would still let you get on the podium. I just want you to know, I
appreciate that.
I'm open to a scene impaired judge. That's how inclusive I am.
It's a good man.
Thank you. I'm ecstatic for you that you win. Will this be the last time that you won? Will this be the last time you drink before the games?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, I golfed 18 with my buddies. We had an 11 o'clock tee time basically right after I finished the workout, and we were like, all right, we just got to kill time. So yeah, we crushed some beers on the golf course and played 18. So we finished up at like 3:55. I was like, this is perfect. I only have 5 minutes to stress about this goddamn leaderboard.
I'm planning to try that.
Really nicely.
I'm planning to try that workout sometime, and then 2 hours after I finish it, I'm planning to be asleep, taking a nap, not playing golf.
Yo, I will say that workout fucked me up.
The first one, workout one.
The last one.
The fourth workout.
Okay.
So
Can you tell us what?
Box jump over? Yeah, the burpee box jump over. Love you, Dad. The burpee box jump over double under wall ball workout. I finished and I rolled around a little bit. I was like, okay, I'm in a lot of pain, but like it's all good. And maybe 5 minutes afterwards, my quads locked and I couldn't walk. Like I had to crawl around the gym because my legs just ceased to function. It was a very sad state of affairs. I was not okay.
What happens if that happens at the CrossFit Games?
You jump in an ice bath and do it again in 3 hours.
What program are you doing, Tim? What programming are you following? Who's training you? Who's your coach?
Yeah, so my coach is Dave Charbonneau. I've actually been working with him since 2015. So we've been together for almost 7 years now. And we actually started a programming business together called Forged by Zeus. His nickname was Zeus back in his competition days. He was a team games athlete for a number of years. but yeah, I've been with him for 7 years. You know, he's been programming for me individually, and obviously we've had a lot of success together. So I'm not changing.
And Sevan's met him before.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, we talked to him at the 2018 regional. Tim did pretty well there also.
Yeah, no, I'm not changing a damn thing.
Tim, I remember you showing up on the scene. The earliest I remember is you being at, I think, a regional in Albany. Does that sound right?
Yep. Actually, you interviewed me. So I remember you did a behind the scenes interview with me. I've still got it saved on my Instagram. In 2017, perfect. You interviewed me Sunday morning before it was going into the last day, and you were asking me like, hey, what would it mean to qualify for the games for the first time? And I we had a couple minute conversation about that. And like I said, I've still got the clip saved on my my Instagram. I'd have to scroll around a little bit, but it's definitely there.
How tall are you?
I was 6'2" when I started CrossFit. I'm now 6 foot tall.
Excuse me? Is that
Spinal
true?
compression from all that fucking lifting, man. I'm tired of squatting and deadlifting, but I'm getting shorter.
Is that really true? You're 2 inches shorter, you think?
Yeah, straight up. I'm about 6 foot and a half an inch tall. I was almost 6'2" when I started CrossFit back in 2012.
Because I remember you being there and, you know, behind your back, never to your face. It was like, this is a fucking joke. This guy's way too big. He's never going to the CrossFit Games. You were just fucking too big. You look like a fucking dinosaur out there.
T-Rex.
Yeah, but it's changed, right? You're totally capable. Did you feel that? Did you know that was the whisper? Tim Paulson's too big. Tim Paulson's too big.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, especially based on some of my early year regional results, like in 2013, 2014, it was very obvious that gymnastics was a huge weakness, partially because I played hockey growing up, so I didn't have a ton of upper body strength. Like we didn't do a lot of pulling, pressing for hockey. It was all unilateral work, plyometrics. There wasn't a lot of like just general upper body strength. So I struggled there a lot, especially, I still do, but especially early on in CrossFit in my career. But yeah, no, I'm actually competing the lightest I ever have. I'm competing around 210 right now, which is about 5 or 6 pounds lighter than I've competed in 2017, 2018, 19 and 20. I was a little heavier, kind of by accident.
Tim, there are a lot of people that are always they're curious about the statistics about size and weight of the athletes, and of course, obviously, age. And age is easy to track, and you can obviously look at any games field and see the ages and find the average age. When your height and weight's changing like that, it's only on you to go in and change your CrossFit Games profile. Otherwise, someone like me who's pulling that data to try to get a representation of the people at the top of the sport this year compared to last year can't really do that. Yeah. What do you think about the CrossFit Games implementing that as part of the check-in at the game so that we can get a more accurate assessment of how tall and heavy? I'm serious. These athletes are that are making it to the top of the sport.
I think it would be pretty easy to open up an iPad and be like, hey, here's your games profile. Update this shit. Like, it'd take us all 5 minutes during check-in. Update your benchmark.
The more information we have, the more we can like you.
You
ride a Harley, I ride a Harley. I like you. You have 2 kids, I have 2. What?
I drive a WRX STI. Not quite.
I just made it up. Whatever. But you know what I mean. You have 2 kids. I have 2 kids. I like you. The more information we have, yeah, it's a no-brainer.
No,
do you do the programming? Say it again, JR.
I would say they always have a press conference, at the games. Think about how cool it would be if they had a press conference and all the athletes came out and did a weigh-in. Do you know how many people would go just to watch that, like UFC style? They would love it.
As long as we weigh in at 6 a.m. after the morning poop. That's my only request.
They just have an outhouse next to the scale. Do you do the programming for Forged by Zeus?
No, so my coach writes all of it. So my coach Dave, he does all of the programming. And then basically I do all of kind of the business back-end stuff. So I run our social media accounts, manage our website, manage all the athlete accounts, interact with the athletes, things like that. And then he does the programming, and then he also does the one-on-one coaching. So we have a handful of athletes that are semifinal level that have been to the semifinals a couple different times. So he handles all that one-on-one coaching. I would love to step into that more when I'm done competing, just kind of more, not necessarily from a coach perspective, but more from like the mental side of competition, fueling recovery, approaching, things like that. But obviously while I'm still an athlete, that's not something I kind of have the bandwidth for. So
I'm going to ask you this then. I'm going to ask JR this question, and you feel free to chime in. There's this commentary this year, and I like the programming this year. I'm not talking any shit about it. I love it. But there's this commentary this year that the programming's better this year than it is last year, JR. And one of the things that everyone keeps saying over...
You're talking about the Last-Chance Qualifier specifically?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And one of the things they're talking about is the reason why it's better this year that the pundits keep saying is because there's no single modality this year. But I think that there's a naiveness there, or maybe a lack of sophistication in understanding how workouts work together in conjunction with one another. And that it's easy if you're in an affiliate, maybe if you're in an affiliate, to be like, yeah, you should have these workouts that have a lot of different movements, that have this wide variety. But this isn't Orange Theory. This is CrossFit. This is affiliates open gyms so they can practice the art and craft of programming. And I think that there is a way. I think that, I mean, I don't mind the criticism. I know I'm being a little nitpicky here, but I'm okay with the last chance qualifier, or I'm okay with when there's only 4 or 5 or 6 workouts, if there is a 7 minutes of burpee, or if there were some like a weighted pull up or some shit, as long as it were balanced on the other side. I'm okay with a shit beer as long as you can drink 12 of them. There just has to be balance. If you're gonna have a shit beer, you have 12 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are your go ahead, Tim, and then I want to hear what JR's thoughts on that too.
Yeah, so I mean, my personal opinion, I was actually joking with my coach about this. I was like, if the last chance qualifier programming was this year what it was last year, I would have struggled to finish in like the top 10, because a 3-rep max no touch and go deadlift would have absolutely crushed me. So personal biases aside, like I'm being as analytical as possible. I think that the place of the last chance qualifier is to just test CrossFit. It's to test the core of our methodology of like what we do, and the core of what we do. You hear Glassman say it all the time: couplets, triplets, like couplets, triplets, chippers. Like, that's kind of where the meat of everything lives. Like Castro said
fair,
all
yes,
the time too. So I think that it's very appropriate for the test to rely on fitness in those modalities. So like, obviously, I did well in the last chance qualifier. So, yeah, I think the workouts were good. But even from an analytical standpoint, like, I've been programming for my affiliate for 10 years. Like, I'm a big nerd on programming. And I think that it's appropriate to have just 4 CrossFit workouts. And one of them is biased towards a pure engine check. One of them is biased towards a heavy barbell. One of them is biased towards a monostructural element. And one of them is biased towards gymnastics-ish. I think the first workout, again, gymnastics capacity was the largest separator. Like cycle time capacity on the bar muscle-ups was more important than the thrusters, in my opinion. So I think it's okay to have 4 CrossFit workouts that have a bias rather than having, it's like a 3-rep max deadlift. Is it a CrossFit workout? I mean, yeah, you would do it in your affiliate, but it's still not a CrossFit test.
I understand. You're making total sense to me. The couplet and triplet thing hits home with me. It's L1 it's L1 as all get out. JR, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I share the same sentiment. And I think that when there's only 4 tests, it's really tough and it's really risky to program anything single modality. Even if you're trying to play the cancel game and you do a 3-rep max deadlift and then 100 burpees, there are some guys with really long levers that are still really, really good at burpees, and the burpee isn't a high level gymnastics movement enough maybe to expose a lack thereof in skill. So I would even argue, and me and Brian have talked about this a lot, at the semifinal level, is 6 workouts enough? Should it be 7? Should it be 2, 3, 2? Because I will always push back and say, if we always think that we need to test single modality strength as 1 out of 6 tests under no fatigue, then there already is in need of another single modality test to almost balance that out.
Under fatigue is that
not under fatigue is usually how the lift is tested.
Okay, sorry, I misunderstood. Okay, you don't mean in terms of fatigue or not fatigue, where it comes 1 through 6. You mean not doing like 100 burpees first and then doing your max clean and jerk. I got it. Okay,
right, like doing something simple like the run clean back-to-back ladders last year.
Although we don't need to do that workout twice in a row. Just my personal opinion.
Do any of you gentlemen have anything else for the winner of the men's last chance qualifier who's going to the CrossFit Games 2022, Tim Paulson?
Yeah, actually, do have one question for him. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah.
No, you got to go first, JR. Mine's the last question type of thing.
Yeah, so I'm curious on the workout that you won, on the last workout. When you look at that, do you immediately look at it and say, okay, I can hold 17 burpees a minute. That's 3 minutes. Okay, with transitions, that's a minute on dubs. Okay, that's 3 minutes of wall balls at 33 reps a minute. So right there, I'm looking at a 7-minute round. Let's add a minute for just general deterioration on round 2. Okay, cool. My goal is 15 minutes. Is that how you do that? Or do you just look at it and say, I'm going to go as hard as I can?
No, 100%. So like I'm an accountant by trade. I have an MBA in accounting, and like I'm a very nerdy numbers guy. So I'm kind of like, I love cycle speeds, and like I like to look at that. Like, okay, I know a wall ball takes this much time. So oftentimes I'll look at a workout and I'll be like, okay, assume no fatigue. How would a robot do this workout? And I looked at that workout, the fourth workout. And I was like, okay, there's 14 minutes of cycle speed here. That's it. Like between wall balls, assuming 16 burpees a minute, assuming 45 seconds per set of double unders, and then assuming about 3 to 310 for wall balls, you're looking at 14 minutes of work capacity, assuming no fatigue, no transitions, no breaks, anything. So when you look at a workout like that, it's like, okay, that's kind of that's what's physically possible if like maybe Matt Frazier did it in his prime. Like, you would look at it and be like, oh yeah, like he's a cyborg. So he doesn't slow down. He just does the workout at the same speed the whole time. But so yeah, you look at it like that, and then you basically just assume some deterioration. So it's like, okay, if I'm going to break the wall balls 3 times in the first set, that's going to add 18 seconds. My first round is going to be around 720. And then, okay, my second round, I'm going to try and break the wall balls. Like, I definitely will analyze a workout and look through it, and just kind of give myself rough times to hit. So for me, like my first round was 720. I broke the wall balls in the 4 sets. I did 4 by 25. I kept 16 burpees a minute. I was off the box at 306, I think it was 308. Double unders were unbroken. And then the second round, I actually had a buddy race 50 burpee box jump overs against me, next to me, just the burpees. And his only goal was to hold 16. His only goal was to hold 16 a minute. It was like, okay, you come in fresh, you do the cadence of 16 a minute, and I'm going to match you. And I don't care how bad it hurts, I'm not going to fucking slow down. And that was what we did. And so the second round of burpees, I want to say it took about 320, and then I did the double unders. I broke once, and then the wall balls obviously was just kind of blackout and hope you don't die and hit yourself in the face. So
JR, Brian, have you ever heard of that before? I used to actually do that with some athletes, where I can't remember what the workout was, if it was EVA or whatever. It's one of those ones with kettlebell swings and like GHDs, and then with 800-meter runs. And I would just do the runs with the guys and push them as hard. Have you ever heard of anyone doing that?
We actually stole it from track, like track and field all the time. They'll have people like run a mile. Like, you'll have guys run 400s next to you to hold the pace. And we were like, yeah, why don't we do this for this workout? Like, it makes.
Who is the guy who did that with you? The burpee
my
guy.
buddy Chris Clyde. He's on our programming, Forged by Zeus, and he's also one of our coaches for the program as well.
And man, can you see him in the camera shot?
He's outside drinking beer right now, but
no, I don't mean this camera shot. I mean in the video you submitted.
Yeah, he's off the screen in that. But yeah, he's actually
brilliant.
He's a 35 to 39 Masters athlete. He finished 12th this year, so he's a super fit dude.
Wow. JR, have you seen that done, or Brian, have you seen that done or heard of that?
Yeah, so I had a guy last year at my gym who was interested in trying to beat the Murph world record this year. So he did all of his reps inside, and I did Murph that morning, and he said, just run the second mile with me and run ahead of me, so I have to try to keep up. So I did that with him.
Man, so good. Brian, have you heard of that for a qualifier to the games? Anyone doing that before?
I don't think so. Not in that specific context.
It's kind of brave.
That's Chris.
You better get tested. It's kind of brave that you did that with double unders and wall balls left.
Wall balls are a very strong movement for me. I've done very well on a lot of wall ball workouts at semifinals, things like that, and then the open. So I knew that I could get there and I could black out with the best of them. So I knew that the crucial part of the workout for me would be not becoming a sad sack on the second 50 burpees.
Brian, go ahead with your final question, and then I got one more tiny thing. Did you see people didn't make the time cap in that workout? Didn't we talk about that?
That's impressive.
On the last one?
Yeah, Tim did it in 15:24, and a bunch of people time cap. But go ahead, Brian. We'll circle back to that. We'll finish with that.
Oh, Tim, what do you think about the time frame between qualifying Last Chance Qualifier and getting ready for the games?
Ooh.
It's pretty gnarly. Like my coach and I were talking about best case scenarios, obviously, while we were golfing. We're like, all right, we were super confident in my performances, like the last 2 events, 3 and 4. But obviously we were not sure if there would be enough help, like if enough guys would finish between me and Royce, me and Kolsky to actually like make a jump and kind of get myself up there. But yeah, we were already kind of chatting, and it's definitely a tough turnaround. Like usually we've got 2 or 3 months to prepare for the games from semifinals or regionals. We've got, basically a month, not even. So we've got like 3 weeks of training. Luckily, again, like at semifinals, I was really confident in my fitness. Like I was literally like 1 or 2 reps from qualifying at semifinals. It wasn't a lack of fitness. It was a lack of execution. Like, I wasn't perfect on the weekend. So I was really confident coming out of semis about where my fitness was. And same thing, last chance qualifier. Again, like, yeah, I struggled on a workout, the first workout, where I kind of thought I would, because again, the determining factor is not something I'm necessarily strong at. But the other 3 workouts, I went 2-2-1. So there's obviously a very strong base of fitness here. And there's a lot of things to feel really good about. So for the next 3 weeks, it's going to be a lot of focus on just the high level game stuff. So we're going to really up the volume. We're going to be doing extra running. We're going to get in the pool instead of once a week, twice a week. Like, we're going to be doing a lot of that stuff to basically just hammer it in and dial it in. So it's not ideal, but honestly, I don't really give a shit. Going back to the games and having the opportunity to throw down is way more important to me than having the perfect storm of prep. Like, obviously I would have liked to qualify at a Granite Games, but that wasn't in the cards this year. So I'm just happy to be going back.
Hey,
I want to ask him one more thing.
Please, yes.
I don't know if you know this, but the girl who's currently in second place and in a qualifying spot won the French Throwdown 5 days ago.
That's impressive.
Is that? I mean, I basically discounted everyone who did the French Throwdown and was also in the last chance qualifier. That's a short turnaround.
Seriously, a couple days is not enough time.
Elena Caratala Sanhuja, is this her first time to the games?
Yeah.
Wow.
Savage. Hey, well, I'm also noticing here that in the men, a bunch of men didn't do day 2. Are these men who knew that they had no chance? DeLugos, Augustine Riquelme, Darren Zernamer, and Andre
Zernamer, I don't know. Riquelme withdrew because he was upset about the penalties that we talked about earlier, and DeLugos, he had a little tweak to an injury, and he and Collar decided it wasn't worth it to do the 3rd and 4th workout.
Yeah, I heard that as well.
And what about Andre? Did you say what happened to Andre?
No, I don't know. We already did one of them, not the other. But no, I don't know Andre.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's good. All right. Mr. Paulson, thank you very much. Thanks for partying with us a little bit. I hope that that gave all the guys to have 1 or 2 more beers ahead of you so that you can now be the sober one in the group.
Yeah, it's all right. We got one more. We're not falling too far behind.
Tim, super impressive, man. That was a tough field of guys. Very, very. Hopefully, that's a lot of confidence for you to ride into the games as well.
No, it really is. Yeah, I mean, I was a wreck. I again, being 35 points back, it's like mathematically, I know the math. Like, it's only 4 events, 2 days. Like, big swings happen. Christy did it last year. Like, it can definitely be done. But I was like, all right, maybe if I come top 3 in the last 2 workouts, I've got a shot. I definitely didn't expect to go 2-1, and my coach gave me a whole bunch of shit because in the final set of 10 clean and jerks, I finished 6, and I kind of gave myself a little bit of a pity break. And I put my hands on my knees for like 6 or 7 seconds because I was obviously in a world of hurt. And he's like, you realize you could have won both events if you just weren't such a pussy when it really mattered. And I was like, I know, shut up. We made it still. It's okay. But
by 1 second.
Yeah. So 1 second of, exactly. I was 2 seconds away from winning both events in the back half, which would have been pretty sweet.
So Brian's telling you, great job, incredible comeback, which it is. And your coach is like, you dipshit, you could have got first and your 3rd and 4th.
Exactly. Always keep me accountable.
Right. It's fantastic. All right, dude. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Awesome. We'll be bugging you at the games.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to it, Sevan. It's always a pleasure, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you, Tim. That's crazy, by the way, JR, that there's 3 guys within 1 second on a workout where they can't see each other.
All right. So yeah, this is something I really want to talk about. It's a little bit, well, no, it's a lot of bit speculation, but it is something interesting. So we see those people at the bottom that didn't choose to put in their scores for day 2, or that just didn't do the workouts, because it's completely different if they chose not to put them in. Look at Jake Berman's, who's in 3rd right now. He's 8 points out. Look at his event 4 score, right? His event 4 score is 1641. And then, I'm sorry, 1619. Okay, look at his event 3. We know he won that by 1
Oh, shit. I know where you're going with this. Oh, shit.
So Koski got 8th in that workout on workout 3. Do we know if DeLugos actually did that workout and just was like, well, I'm not going to do the 3rd one, so I'm not going to do the 4th one. So
I think he tweaked it in the middle of that workout.
Okay.
JR, are you leading us down the road to say that if all of those guys would have done the workout and put their scores in, it could have shuffled it around, that Berman and Koski are close enough that it could have shuffled the points around, and Berman would have been in and Janikowski out?
Well, so you're looking at 2 places there. That's all Jake needed was 2 places to tie him. And then if he tied him overall in points, he had the tiebreaker because he won workout 3. So yeah, it's kind of a Colton similar situation, right? We said there at the legless rope climb workout that he got the score he got, but then also there were a couple withdrawals. So if he didn't get those points that he just automatically received from withdrawals, maybe he doesn't get enough points to qualify. So we're talking about movement standard penalties and stuff, but really if the full field would have completed it, who knows what would have happened.
The points are always so fascinating to me.
Well, yeah,
how
that's
how that works,
that's
and the number of athletes and all that. Sorry, go ahead, Ryan.
Well, and that's why I put that thing up right before the last chance qualifier started. I don't think that CrossFit Games advertised the scoring system they were used, but we were able to find out that they were using it, assuming that everyone would register, which means out of 32, they had a contingency plan for 32 athlete scoring system for semifinals already that they were maybe going to use in a case where that happened in a previous. This is also still part of the semifinal stage of competition, but then they decided not to change that, so they just used it. So I did that little graphic where you could see that there was a minimum number of points that athletes would get no matter what, as long as they did the workout. And those things matter, like those decisions matter, because the margins are extremely small. We're talking about a second here, a second there, a penalty here, a penalty there, someone doing the workout or not doing the workout. And if the scale is 6 points instead of 4 points per placement, that can make a difference come the end of the weekend. And what JR is talking about is that there was an opportunity for those guys to middle him by like a significant amount of time. It's not so much the placements, but time, especially on workout 3 and even on workout 4, where he was 4th, Berman was 4th to Jona's 5th, but there was 30-second gap there. 30 seconds is surely enough for one person or 2 people to come into the mix and take those 8 points away from Koski, and then we're looking at maybe Jake Berman getting a game spot. So that's why it's important that the scoring decisions are well communicated and understood, but also that they make sense in the context of the competition, so that that's why we're always having these conversations, is because we want the fitness to prevail, and we're looking for, we're at least trying to explore the different options of a scoring system that will best represent what the athletes do on the floor.
What was I'm trying to look here. Tim Paulson got 14th. 23 reps on the first workout versus Janikowski's 30. Okay.
And this is we had said we didn't, because of the way that the scoring was and how competitive the field was, we thought that you would need all top 10 finishes in order to make it to the games. And for the men's side, that was the case for one of the 2, with Tim's 14th being an exception. But we did see this last year with Christie, where you were able to have one bad finish if you could offset it with a first and a first, or in his case, first, second. Yes. And then and for the women, both of them that made the games, I think they had nothing worse than a 7th. So you had to be pretty good at all 4 of these tests to get to the games.
This workout here, the workout number 3, I'll remind people what it is here. It was the clean and jerk ascending ladder 1 through 10 with shuttle runs. It ended up, I think we figured out, being about a half a mile that they had to run. And one of the topics we said is that the time cap would be 20 minutes. And Brian was speculating that they wanted that so everyone would finish and everyone would have the same fatigue on their body. And he was right, at least in concept, because everyone did finish except for just one dude down here at the bottom. But look at the time difference in these. 13:33, Jake Berman. And so 7 minutes later, 6 minutes later, Anthony Hayes. It's massive.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's like a third or more of the working time available. But if Adrian Bosman had said that he was hoping everyone would finish this workout, it seems like most people did. We kind of thought that the best times would be 13-14 minutes, which they were, and it did end up being a surprisingly tight race, despite the fact that they were all doing it, independently of each other.
A little bits of house cleaning I want to do here real quick. Make sure you get your No Plan B shirt. Today's the last day to pre-order. I want to go through something here really quick of all the people who generously donating money. Mark, awesome. Ariel put Sevan in his place. That's correct. So did Brian. Thank you guys for the best, most knowledgeable post-game show. Thank you. Even with Taylor gone, we still know some shit. Wad Zombie, always a huge supporter of the show. What an all-star cast right here. Danny, for Paulson's backup battery fund, thank you for the coverage. I think he has 2 phones. Did he say he was going to switch to another phone? He's a drug dealer.
I think he used one of his friends.
His mom's phone. Tell Ariel she's doing pretty amazing for a chick who just wanted to get the name poster from semis last year. Kevin McGrath, can we take a minute to appreciate Royce's effort for event 1? Unreal home run hitter for sure. Yeah, nuts. He did those thrusters, and I thought I saw someone wanted to know my 2K row time.
Well, in case anyone didn't see that, he did 20 thrusters in about 42 seconds, and then he did 24 unbroken bar muscle ups, and he weighs 220 pounds.
Crazy.
That's crazy. And he basically went full send on the muscle ups, getting as many reps as possible. I apologize.
What is that? Is someone shaking bells?
Train.
It's good. We love a train. It's good sound bite. What's Sevan's 2K row time? I will do it tonight and tell you guys.
Basically, the $10 he put in there, if you just put an extra colon between the second and third zero, that's his time.
it might be. There were 2 people who went to the last chance qualifier who did not have to go through the semifinals, and that was done because of certain travel restrictions, visa issues. Who were those 2 people?
2 women and 2 men.
Okay, can we look at the men first? I've been curious how they did.
Scroll back down. Or sort by rank, yeah. And scroll down to like the middle.
15th and 21st.
Okay, so 15th is Hemsay Tarifi from...
And by the way, someone was talking, I think it might have been Taylor talking about Dennis Samsonoff, but Hemsay Tarifi has been better than Dennis at every stage of the season this year. He was like 60th worldwide in quarterfinals. He's pretty good, and I think he would have been very, very competitive in the Asian semifinal if he had gotten a chance to go there.
He's from this place called the Palestinian Territory.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go in about 2 minutes, Sevan.
Okay, me too. Actually, I'll hang on with JR for a minute. We'll just have a moment of silence for 5 minutes. And then who is the other guy? 21st. This guy, Dennis Samsonoff, and this is the fittest wizard, right?
Yep. Right.
And he's from fucking Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah, but he lives in LA.
Okay. Everyone lives in LA. Okay, Kyrgyzstan's not even really a country; it's a city and it's a neighborhood in LA.
Actually, it's pretty. Well,
it's a country. Okay, and where country. and where are the 2 women?
Down for way down. There they are. 21 and 22.
Okay, so this girl's from Or Cohen is from Israel, and Masha Sevan. They're still doing this fucking game. This is supposed to be the Russian flag down here.
It could be Belarus or Russia or possibly 1 or 2 other countries.
Come on, goofballs. At least they didn't kick him out. Good job. All right.
But that's not unimportant to look at, though. If you scroll all the way down here to the bottom and you see, because the people are always asking about this, and you look, the athletes here at the bottom are
Zimbabwe.
From which countries are they, or which continents are they from? And we've been talking, we know that those continents don't yield the best athletes relative to Europe or America or Australian women at the top of the sport. But then you have a competition like this that displays it. But even if you start looking there, you see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 athletes from North America that finish below the lowest finishing athlete from Europe that were registered for this event, which was Sarah Sigmundsdottir, by the way. And that's the type of data that I'm always looking at when I'm trying to assess, should the European women have more spots relative to the North American women? It's not this arbitrary thing. It's based on competition, performance, history over time. And again, we see here that the European women in the last chance qualifier did better than the American women, especially down in this bottom half of the field.
Israel should just get one for itself since it's the chosen people. They should just get their own, like just one spot. There, here you go.
Mm-hmm.
JR, thank you. Brian, thank you. JR, do you have any last word you'd like to say?
Yeah, just, you were making the point about workout 3 and how there was such a huge spread, such a huge margin between like 13 minutes and then someone getting time capped. And when people get together and talk about programming, one of the things and one of the athletes' main gripes about some programmed competitions is the fact that there isn't enough separation. There isn't enough work being done to separate the athletes. And whether or not you like shuttle runs, here in this workout kind of shows you that. It shows you that there was tons of separation. And I know the field was only 27 athletes, but 7 minutes is enormous. And as athletes, that's usually what they're yearning for, that, right? If you make that workout 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, so only 30 clean and jerks and 30 shuttle runs, there's not even close to that much separation. And usually in competitions, you'll have 1 or 2 events that are fast, and those 1 or 2 events will yield really, really tight margins. And that's what we want, right? We want to see a race. But then also in this sport, there needs to be places where people have to slow down because either their capacity or their muscular endurance slows them down. And we can look as fans and say, oh, that guy's not as good at that guy at that thing because he slowed way down. So I think it's really important that we got one workout like that. And you could argue that we got 2 workouts like that because workout 4, there was a pretty big spread also between like the winner and between the last place finisher. And of course, people can say, well, there's a huge disparagement in fitness level between the first and last place guy. That might be true, but it's going to be that way at the games also.
And Brian, if you have to go, you can go. Sorry, I'm going to keep you. But
I do.
Okay, bye.
Great talking to you guys.
Thank you.
See ya.
And JR, you're not saying that one's better than the other, whether it's Fran where there's not a lot of room or there's something like this. What you're saying is as a fan, it lets us see different places where people fail, what taxed them more, what strategies were used, who came out too hot. It's just it's just different. You're not suggesting one's better, right? And obviously, I think maybe what you were suggesting is that the athletes prefer these ones that have a little more space.
Well, I think you need both. You have to have both, right? You have to have some where it's truly a race and it's a little bit more about who can cycle this movement a little bit faster and more efficiently, or who can get up and down the rope just a little bit faster. But when you have more than 1 or 2 of those in a 10, 12 workout competition, it tends to skew, like we've mentioned in the past, to execution over fitness. And I think that's what they're saying.
If this doesn't work for you, then we can use a different model. But if there were a high IQ workout and a low IQ workout, a low IQ workout might be shouldering or grace, right? Just shouldered overhead any way you want. It's just 30. It's just grunt work, right?
Ground overhead. Yep.
Oh, sorry, ground overhead. And then a high IQ workout might be one like this. Like, hey, you're only going to get a couple shots at it. There's a rest in the middle. Like, you have to make sure you have a strong game plan. Of these, if you use that, which is the highest IQ workout and which is the lowest IQ workout? Is this a low IQ workout, workout 4, just like, hey, work and hurt?
Yeah, I would say there's not too much thought there. Usually your fitness is going to slow you down on a workout like that.
And so in general, these last 3 are all kind of low IQ workouts. This is work. These are the couplets and triplets. This is work. Row 2. I mean, there's a little bit of thought here, right, about your 2,000 meters, but it's get this shit done and start walking on your hands. It's just one round, right?
Yeah, but I would push back on workout 2 and say maybe of all of them, that was the most delicate as far as pacing goes, because I know there are athletes out there that rode 5 or 10 seconds fast for their capacity, and it made them not get 25 more feet on their hands because they were just a little bit too overreached by the time they kicked upside down.
Do we know the farthest someone walked on workout 2 on their hands?
I want to say it was 41 or 42 reps, which is like 205 or 210 feet.
And there was a max you could walk, right? Like you could tap that workout out at 250 or something, right? Wasn't there some sort of?
I think the scorecard went up to 250. So clearly they had it tested by somebody that was good.
Right. Crazy. I wonder how you do that. I wonder how you do that. You just you just assume that the fastest row time would be 6:30, and then don't make someone do the row time and be like, hey, walk as fast as you can on your hands for a minute and a half, right?
Yeah, I would say you find someone that's a really good rower that's also competent at handstand walks, and you just tell them to get as many as you get. Or maybe they gave them a 9-minute clock, and they said, okay, cool, we're just going to take a minute off. Good job.
Right. Nuts. All right. Well, congratulations, CrossFit HQ. I have really heard nothing even remotely negative about the Last Chance Qualifier. I think it went off without a hitch. People liked the workouts. I think people are liking the judging. I think people are very, very pleased with it. Would you consider it? Would you give it a high mark?
Yeah, definitely. It seemed like it was a big success.
Awesome. All right, brother. I'll talk to you soon. It sounds like you and Taylor and I are going to be doing a show on programming here very soon. So you and I will be talking very soon.
Yeah, looking forward to it, man.
Guys, everyone who watched the entire show or even a portion of the show, thank you, and stay tuned. Tomorrow I have Bellator heavyweight fighter on at 7 a.m. who's 10-0. Who's fighting in Bellator 282. And then on Sunday morning, I'm doing a Hiller Fit and Review show. And thank you for the 999. Where are all the big people? We had Tim Paulson on. Yeah, you look big, by the way. That dude looks big, right?
Oh, yeah.